All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm here with one of the 2023 Upper Midwest Athletic Conference Scholar Athlete Leadership Award winners, Liz Lofstad from North Central University. Liz, how are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Absolutely. So, just to give some background on this award to any that are unfamiliar, this is the top UMAC award that is given out every year. Each year, the UMAC recognizes the role that athletics plays in developing leaders by rewarding athletes' excellence both in the classroom as well as service to their communities. The honor is awarded annually on both the men's and the women's side to a graduating senior from full member UMAC institutions. And Liz was one of three student athletes that emerged from a group of finalists that demonstrated a healthy balance by achieving excellence in all of academics, leadership, as well as service, all while participating in intercollegiate athletics. So definitely an impressive resume. Finalists for each institution were nominated by the UMAC faculty athletics representatives, and the winners were also selected by the faculty athletics representatives council. So just a little bit of background on Liz. So Liz majored in American Sign Language, which I think is awesome, all while participating in both cross country and track and field. Liz earned a 4.0 GPA during her time at North Central, and she completed her degree in just 2.5 years. She also earned UMAC academic accolades each year of participation at North Central. Liz held student leadership positions within North Central's American Sign Language organization, including the role of Vice President of Alliance. She's a qualified student interpreting coordinator, which assisted North Central students hoping to acquire the required hours for their American Sign Language internship. And Liz also held multiple internships herself, including one with American Sign Language at Fairview hospitals and clinics across the Twin Cities. She also interned with ASLIS, an interpreting organization that serves the deaf community by providing interpreters in person and online, while also offering various education and training to interpreters all over Minnesota. She was a volunteer with ThinkSelf, which is an organization that provides education to deaf immigrants in Minnesota. In her sports during her athletic career, Liz was a 2-year team captain for both cross country and track and field, and was described as the second most decorated female track and cross country athlete North Central has ever had. She's a 2-time first team all conference performer, both in 2021 and 2022. And she sits fourth all time at North Central in both her 5K and 6K time. So Liz, again, thanks so much for joining me today. So you already graduated, so we'll kind of start there. What are you doing now that you've graduated?
Yeah, I've been working. I'm with two companies. I'm an independent contractor for ASLIS, which is where I had one of my internships. And then I'm also working for Sorensen Communications in their St. Paul location. So that's what I'm doing work-wise. And athletics-wise, now that I'm done with track and cross country, I'm looking forward to the Twin Cities Marathon this fall. So I've started training for that, and then have also kind of started to get back into ultimate frisbee, which is another sport I really enjoy. So I'll be playing with the Twin Cities Ultimate League this summer.
Very cool. Very, very cool. That's great to hear. And then in terms of this award, just kind of describe what it means to you to be selected for this award among your peers in the UMAC, whether it be your peers from North Central or just your peers from other schools in the UMAC.
It's definitely a really big honor. I know there's so many people that I know from that have competed against or at North Central who are just incredible athletes and incredible leaders. And I know there's so many more people that I don't know as well that are just amazing at what they do. And so it's definitely a really big honor to be picked for this.
For sure. And I mean, we have so many great student athletes within this conference. So to be selected for this award is certainly an honor and a huge deal. So congratulations again on winning. But in what ways, kind of going back to your college days, did you feel you best displayed leadership on your campus, in your community, and in your sport? Kind of what did that look like?
Well, on campus, I was involved in Alliance at Student Org, as was mentioned, in both the QSI coordinator role and the vice president role. And I felt like I was really able to use the natural skills and abilities I had in those roles in terms of like organization and coordination, planning, all that kind of stuff. While at the same time, I felt like those roles really stretched me to grow in terms of more interpersonal relationships and that side of leadership. And so I felt like I was able to use the gifts I have while still being stretched to grow at the same time. And in athletics, I was a captain for track and cross country. And I think I led best by example. I made it my goal every day to just give 100% of what I had to give at every single practice. And I don't think that goes unnoticed. And I mean, there's certainly times as well where I'd call out teammates and be like, hey, you need to step it up here. But ultimately that doesn't really mean anything if I'm not walking the walk myself. And so I would always try to lead by example in that.
Sure, absolutely. And then in terms of just your athletic career, what do you think is your favorite memory, most memorable moment during your time at North Central? Do you have any?
I tried really hard to think of a really memorable moment, and I wouldn't say there's one thing that really stuck out, but there's just a lot of small memories, even just all the really good conversations with teammates on long runs or just goofy moments while traveling for races or whatever. One kind of funny example is this last fall, I was with my team we're out in Wisconsin for a race, staying overnight at a hotel. And while we were wandering this hotel, just trying to find our rooms, we ended up getting locked in this really like sketchy back stairwell. And it's just like little moments like that that I will look back on and laugh at and smile at for, I'm sure, quite a while to come.
For sure. Yeah, sometimes as a student athlete, it's the little moments, it's the bus rides, it's the hotel stays, it's going out to eat with teammates, it's all that stuff. So that's awesome. That's great to hear. And then in terms of like a service opportunity that you've been a part of that really meant a lot to you or has stuck out, I know you did a lot during your time at North Central, but was there any in particular that stood out during your time?
Yeah, absolutely. And is it okay if it's not specifically for athletics, but more just for my time in college in general?
Yes, no, 100%,
Okay.
absolutely.
I would say the service opportunity that was the most memorable to me was got to be a student ambassador at the Deaf Missions Conference in 2021. And that was a bunch of people from my department went down to that. And it was in Des Moines. It was like a 4-day conference where deaf people and interpreters from all over the country and some people from other countries as well just met together for workshops and celebrations and conferences. And I got to be a part of running it and helping out with it, which was super cool that I always felt like I was able to serve in this capacity that incorporated everything I'd been learning in my major at school, and also tied in with my faith. And so to be able to serve in that way with other people from my department was really neat.
Absolutely. That sounds like a really neat opportunity. What do you think during your time as a student athlete in the UMAC? What do you think is kind of the biggest thing you took away from that, or the biggest lesson you learned, kind of being a student athlete and trying to balance all of that? Kind of what was your biggest takeaway from that?
Um, I definitely took away a lot of friendships and memories, but in terms of lessons I learned, I think just the ability to prioritize. Because being a D3 athlete, you're able to do a lot more than just sports, but there's also the expectation then that you do a lot more than just sports, which I feel like comes with its pros and cons. And so I really had to sit down and take a hard look at my life as I'm trying to juggle all these things and how to establish what is my priority, um, and figuring out where things fit in that order. And then also learning how to have the delayed gratification to say, all right, these things that aren't really priority right now, like other hobbies or social time or whatever else, being okay with setting that aside for the couple years and really focus on the things that I had set up my priorities on. I think that's a life lesson that I will take with me forever.
Absolutely. No, that was great. I appreciate that. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, Liz. You represented the UMAC so well during your time at North Central, and we appreciate you taking some time this morning to let us get to know you a bit better. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you.